Recently, I decided to conduct an experiment. I took a screenshot of my first game, which sold really well, and a screenshot of my new game that I'm working on right now, and created a simple comparison post on r/pixelart. Without context, and just from these two pics, which one looks more appealing and makes you want to play it? I have released 4 games so far, but only one of them was successful, which is option A. My goal with this post was to find out if the project that I'm working on today, which is my 5th game, has any chance to be more successful than my previous projects. So if option B wins the votes, then that could mean that I'm on the right path. And since I've barely started my new game, it would be relatively easy for me to make major changes to it if the first appeal was not favorable. So, after 800 upvotes, 400 comments, and 300 notifications, I started going through all the comments and sorted the votes, and discounted the neutral votes. And the results were more interesting than I thought. First, let's look at the percentage split. 45.5% in favor of option A and 54.5% in favor of option B, which means that my new project wins the immediate appeal with a slight margin. Now, some of you might think that using only one screenshot for comparison isn't enough, but in truth, it is. Because when you visit a store page, the first thing you do is to look at the first screenshots. And if they don't appeal to you, you will leave that store page. Not to mention that if you hover your mouse on a game on Steam, it shows you the first few screenshots, so people will pass judgment even before they click on your store page. This is not just true with Steam, I have seen this on some of the consoles too. So, using only a single screenshot to test your game's immediate appeal is very valid. Now, even though these numbers are in my favor, the real fruit of this market research experiment comes from the comments. Because in truth, my expectation was that this would be more of a 70-30 split, either in favor of A or B. And even though B won, it won by a slight margin, so this is not exactly a victory. The good news is that a lot of people who voted for A did so because they did not like these grass and cave borders. After I made this Reddit post, I started fixing these issues, and the game kinda looks like this now. Maybe if these had been done beforehand, more people would have voted for B instead of A. Another important thing that happened is that a lot of people stated that A gave them more of a puzzle game vibe, while B gave them more of a combat-driven vibe. And that's good, because my intentions is to make this game more combat-focused, compared to my previous games that have been more puzzle-focused. So that is another win for me. But the best thing that came out of this experiment was the fact that a lot of people said that option A was overdone, while option B felt new and more innovative. Option B has more dimensions to the landscape, makes it seem like there is more to explore and it's more complex. B feels more alive. A just feels like another RPG Maker game. People who are saying option A are generic and have no taste. There are like 2.5 million games just like this. Option B for sure. Way too many that look like option A, in my opinion. I would scroll by it without a second thought. Zero interest in the first, because it looks generic and dull. Mild possibility of interest in the second due to a bit more interesting viewpoint and more vibrant colors. Option B is more unique. Not that there is anything wrong with 2D pixel games, there's just too many of them. I have played 100 games that look like option A, but I've played maybe 5 games that look like option B. There were a lot of people who made similar comments like these, and this gave me a lot of joy because I agree that this style is overdone. This style, on the other hand, opens up more possibilities, especially the camera angle, and I am glad that it looks appealing to a lot of other people too. But at the same time, I want to also point out that a lot of people didn't like option B, and they had some valid reasons for it. When you're doing market research like these, you have to be careful not to allow confirmation bias to affect the results. One of the reasons that I made this video is to show you that there are many ways to find out if the game you're making is good or not. One of them is to perform an experiment similar to this one. If you have already made a game and now you're making a new game, try doing something like this to see if people find your new game more appealing or not. After all, your new game should be created with a goal to outperform your first game. And if you haven't released any games yet, try comparing your game with someone else's game. But make sure you don't choose a game that is too popular, because then everyone will vote for that one. If you want to be good at marketing, you have to remember that marketing is not always about shoving your Steam page in people's faces. This experiment brought me no new followers nor any wish lists. It wasn't meant for that. It was a way to find out if my game is as appealing to others as it is to me. If I had done this with my other 3 games during early development, maybe I would have been able to stop myself early and chosen a different path. I'm going to end this video by saying that this game has only been in development for 2 months, and this is not the only marketing experiment that I'm going to do for it. So if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, then please subscribe. And if you want to have a look at this Reddit post and learn from it, you will find the link in the description below. Thank you for watching, I'll see you soon.